what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy.
Finished up LSU spring game here in Tiger Stadium, and they impressed in a big way. Brian Kelly heading into year 2. They look like they've bought into what he wants to sell when it comes to the culture.
Stop this.
Jaden Daniels was tremendous.
No,
that's the band.
Oh, okay. My bad.
A+ I give him on the day. Receivers, wow. Tall, rangy, athletic. You got Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors. You got Kyron Lacey. They all balled out. And the defense, they made some big plays too on that side of the football. I thought they were the best team in the SEC West heading into this game today. Watching them live only reassured to me that this will be the team going to Atlanta to probably face my Georgia Bulldogs.
And look, man, and it's interesting, Jake, that we start with the offense. He starts with the receivers and the offense as well, and that should give you an idea about how excited you should be. And, you know, it felt like last year we all knew how talented the receiver position was, but for various reasons, you never really took consistent advantage of it. It feels like this year you are well prepared to do that. And a lot of that just comes from the growth of Jaden Daniels.
it does. And
like you said, and not having kind of the Keyshawn Black hole a bit there.
I like the room. I like the room a lot. And you've got different receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like Brian Thomas, he is the high point the ball, just freak athlete, tall, lean, rangy receiver. And Malik Neighbors can give you those tough yards. He can run any route in the route tree. And Kyron Lacey, we saw what he can do as far as pulling away from a defense, breaking tackles. Landon Ibieta has a 70-yard touchdown in the spring game as well. That's a scholarship player. It's somebody that we saw in the bowl game last year. And obviously, he's not like any of the other receivers as far as his skill set as well. And I don't mean that in a negative. I mean that in a positive way. You have different type of receivers for this team. Now, tight end position, you didn't have Mason Taylor in this game. Yeah. He had an injury, but you saw some even a big play down the seam to a tight end. So that is going to be the core strength of this team. I think you have a lot of guys that could be – the 3 receivers that Aaron just rolled off there could be ones in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Any of them. All 3 of them could be. So that's going to be a strength of your team. I thought the offensive line held up really well. Certainly that first unit did. Going back to it again, my question is going to be about the running game. Even though we didn't see any of the running backs outside of Noah Cain that you're probably going to see in the fall, you need to see something from that room. I thought it was good last year. It needs to be great.
Yeah, I thought Trey Holly had some plays, but like you said, I don't know how much he's going to actually factor in once fall time rolls around and Josh Williams and everybody else gets back and John Emery's still in there. Look, on the offensive line, first line looks great. I am a bit worried about depth, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a ton of
you're getting some freshmen.
Yeah. You don't have a ton of peace of mind there.
Yeah, so
that's what happens when you have 2 freshmen win starting jobs. In the transfer portal era, kind of.
Yeah.
But look, you got Mason Lunsford coming in. He was at the game. Yeah. He's a good body, a tall kid from Maryland.
Neff Charles Turner coming back.
Yeah.
So one of those 2 guys is going to be a depth piece. But so Gordy was wanting me to give the offensive line, and I did the ones, and then they flipped it, and I'm coming over there. And he's like, all right, give us the 2 offensive line. And I'm looking at the depth chart.
Yeah.
2 guys, one guy wasn't on there. Another guy was a defensive end listed if the number was correct.
Wow.
It was names I did not know outside of Bo Borderline. He was, I think, the only scholarship player, and they're working him in at center. And I think that's when I told Gordy, I don't know. T-Bob's down here. Maybe he can hop in there. I don't know because, you do have some depth issues there. I mean, you had a lot of walk-ons that were in that second group. Now you're getting a slew of freshmen, talented freshmen, and you mentioned you're getting transfers, and you're still – I know we'll have that conversation later. Probably the biggest position that you're looking in the portal. Yeah. Maybe not for starting offensive linemen, but you're looking for depth in the transfer portal to join your team.
Yeah, they got the Wyckoff kid from A&M. There's the other you're going after. There's the what's the other kid that we talked about last week?
That's from Wyoming.
Yeah, the Wyoming guard who's made himself into a big-time recruit. So there's potentially options out there, but it's something that you want to keep an eye on. Like I said, I thought both quarterbacks were great. I love seeing both quarterbacks celebrate each other, right? Garrett Nussmeier gets a touchdown with the ones, and the first one out there to celebrate and do a handshake with him is Jaden Daniels, right? So that speaks to a room that they're comfortable. It's not always like that. And then that's understandable, right? You're competing for playing time. Like sometimes those are weird relationships to try to manage, but it appears on the surface at least like they're doing a really good job. It didn't feel forced to me. I don't know. This might be just such a random thing, Jake, but and granted it was at the twos, but one guy that kept making plays for me was Terrence Welch. Like I saw him have like 3 or 4 big PBUs. So maybe a name to look forward to as we move forward.
That's a great point, T. I mean, Gordy must have called his name 7 times, it felt like. And he's got like a Trey White type body. Like he just looks and feels like Trey White out there. And it didn't matter who the receiver was. It wasn't just with the twos. It was with every group. He kind of stayed in there. And again, that's a position you got a little concern because you just don't know. Like you have talent, like with Denver Harris and J.K. Johnson, but they're coming from A&M. They're coming from Ohio State. You're not really sure exactly how that's going to fit in. I still think you need some bodies there. And look, he was highly touted out of high school, so he's not just somebody. I mean, he was the guy in a recruiting class that everybody talked about. He feels like he's ready to give you starting minutes, starting times, whatever. Like he's a piece that you can use.
And he was talking on trash too. He kept doing this celebration where he would sniff his fingers and throw it to the ground. I don't know what that is, but it looked cool.
Well, it's either that or the seatbelt that the DBs usually do.
A seatbelt? I always thought they were sheathing a sword. It's a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Just promoting car safety?
I think like
a
maybe
lockdown?
Yeah.
Like lock it.
Yeah.
That's a weird. No,
that's what I've always. That's what I've been told. That's
belt it up, baby.
That's what my sideline reporting research told me.
Brady Twinton had a sack. That was kind of cool to see. Was that Whit Weeks on the pick six?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really nice pick six in the linebacker position.
Just saying, there was one alum that hosted him on his recruiting visit. I'm just saying.
How did you host Whit Weeks? You're nearly 40.
I said alum.
I just don't. But how did they arrive at you doing the recruiting?
No, you don't like host him, but you go over.
You're like taking Whit Weeks to Reggie.
I never went there when I was.
Oh, you're right. You're under
18.
21. No, never took a recruit to a bar ever. Why would you? That's illegal.
Well, not. I wouldn't take them to
crazy.
No, so like now, like alums can talk to recruits. That was such a no. Even in like when you were in the NFL, like you couldn't do it. And so when he came in, I said hosted. Like I went over there and had a good, 2-hour conversation, sat down with him, kind of watched film on him before he came in, so I knew what kind of player he was, and we just talked about his career and where I thought it could go. And he asked me a couple of questions, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was a tight pick six. I mean, I don't know what his eventual role is going to be, but tipped it to himself, finished the play. It was a nice job. But that's all I really got out of the spring game. I mean, overall, like, let's not make any grand sweeping conclusions, but I already thought this team was the best in the West, and they did nothing to disabuse me.
Bob here hating on the elderly.
What? No, dude. No,
that was a funny image. Can't lie. You hosting a recruit and going to Tigerland. That made me chuckle.
Yeah.
Look, hey, I'm just out here doing the Lord's work, all right? Just trying to recruit to the Tigers.
Hey, hell yeah, bro. Hold down. Purple and gold till we die. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.